Good morning, everyone. Jim back with you again for another day in the Word of God. And I am back. I missed the last video, which was yesterday. Sorry. I know I've had some people I wouldn't say complain about that, but rightfully so. They were wondering, I've been kind of patchy lately, but I think I've got on course here, and I should be pretty much with you most every day now until we close out, in particular, this book of Revelation. And I want to mention that to you. So before we get started today with Revelation 21:15 to 21, actually, before we continue with that, I want to just talk to you about what the plan is, where we're going from here, and a little bit, and give you insight. Now, I'm not going to tell you what book we're going into next. I'm going to tell you that on Monday. I have all but settled on the next place we're going, and it is going to be the New Testament again. A lot. I'll just say this: it's a lot larger of a book, for sure. And I'll give you all that reasoning behind it in the book here on Monday coming up, which will be July, July 20th. But I think you'll be excited about that. I have a purpose for it and a reason why we're going to do it here. But I want to mention that we should have this book of Revelation wrapped up by next Friday, the 24th. Now, I know if you're watching this video later, you don't really care about the dates, but we'll have this wrapped up on the 24th, which will be Friday, which from today is about six more. Six more videos. We'll have the end of, we'll have Revelation 22 completed. And it's been a great journey, and it's just going to sync so perfectly with um, it's going to just be perfect because it's going to sync so well with our 1 year anniversary of doing this online devotional just about every day when I can get to it as best I can. And I think we've been pretty accurate. And I'll kind of give you a recap of where we've been and everything else, and where we're going to go. I'll probably do that on maybe a Monday or maybe on the 27th, I believe, once we start, which will be the next Monday when we start the new book. So anyway, I want to welcome you back. And we're in this great section of Revelation 21:15 to 21. And it is the city, right? It's a lot of the really cool things we see, and a lot of just the really fantastical things we hear about the new city, the holy city, Jerusalem, what it looks like. This is very practical in the sense of the size, the appearance. But I want to point out a couple of things that you may or may not have thought about this city and way it appears and what it looks like. And to bring home some symbolism that I do believe there is. I think a lot of this is symbolic, and I think it is not only symbolic, but it is truly physical. So um, it's not only physical in the sense that of how it appears and the foundation stones and that sort of thing, but there's a symbolism to the physicality of it. And I would say this. I would say if you think of it like when Jesus, and you hear this, that when Jesus came back to earth, right? When he before he ascended to the Father, he rose. He came back to earth. He still had the wounds in his hand and in his side, right? So we kind of know that he had the wounds in his hands and his side, and this is before the ascension, but he was erased already. And you thought, well, why didn't he heal? I think because it's the same kind of idea. It's a reminder to us for all eternity of what he suffered on the cross for us. How much it's a reminder of his love for us personally. And I think some of this we see today. There is some of this in the design, if you will, or in the structure, if you will, of the heavenly city. I think that's the same idea process here. The same thought is it's a reminder of just what the holy city is and how it came about and that sort of thing. So anyway, let's read it and let's take a look at it right now. Okay, you see it right here. I don't know what happened to that. There it is. All right, you see it right here. And it says, this is John again speaking. And he says, and the one who spoke with me, okay, which I believe is the angel here. I think it says earlier, right? And this, we read this last time. The wall of the city, the foundation stones, and the stones had 12 names of the apostles of the Lamb. Then the one who spoke with me had a gold measuring rod to measure the city. This is the holy city that has come down from heaven onto the new heavens and the new earth, and its gates and its wall. So it measured the city, the gates and the wall. The city was laid out in a square, and its length is as great as its width. And he measured the city with a rod, 1,500 miles. Its length and its width and its height are equal. And he measured its wall 72 yards according to human measurements, which are also angelic measurements. The material of the wall is jasper, and the city was pure gold, like clear glass. The foundation stones of the city were adorned. The wall were adorned with every kind of precious stone. The first foundation stone was jasper, the second sapphire, third chalcedony, the fourth emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth sardis, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th Christophase, the 11th jacinth, the 12th amethyst. And the 12 gates were 12 parts. Each one of the gates was a single pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold like transparent glass. I'm thinking, take me there. Let's just go right now. Right? I mean, I think you read this and you're like, awesome, right? I mean, this is just amazing. And it should give us hope. And I want to just mention that if you're watching this and you get upon this, regardless of when you finally watch it, just think about this, ponder this. This is told for our enjoyment and for our hope. I mean, that's why it's here. It's going to happen. He doesn't have to tell us. We don't have to do anything here. It's going to happen. It's not like he's saying, to have the city look like this, you have to do this, or this is what God. He's just telling you I think it's just pure giving us like a father just telling us, wait till what I have planned for you. And I think this is amazing. I mean, this is just an amazing view. Let's ponder for a minute, if you will, the size of this thing. I think it's just amazing to think about. Okay, so first, this is the wall of the city, right? And this is what we read last time. It had these 12 foundation stones. Now, this wall and these 12 stones, it's pretty interesting because let me show you how big this is, right? They have the 12 names of the 12 apostles. I spoke about this last time. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But let's talk about this gold measuring rod, and to measure the city and the gates and its wall. So it's laid out as a square. And you immediately determine that its width and its length and its height are equal. What does that tell you? It's a cube. Okay. So right there, we know it's a cube. And that's fascinating in itself. How big is this cube? Well, it's about 1,500 miles. I think it's like 1380, somewhere around there. But it's in this here, they just give you 1,500 miles. So each wall, the width, the depth, if you will, if you're looking at it three-dimensionally, the depth and the height are exactly equal. So they're in a cube, 1,500 miles. So it would be the largest continent. It's one of the largest continents on Earth is one city. One place is the size of a continent, but it's even bigger than that because it's tall as well. This wall's height. Now, depending upon, you can start to imagine, if you will, the height and all this stuff is because we're floating around and it's, three-dimensional and, it's hard to say, obviously. And honestly, I think, your mind can get blown by just pondering that. So it's kind of hard to understand. But I think this is really cool too, right here in 17. And he, this angel, measured its wall 72 yards. A better terminology, a better thing in the other, this is the width. Okay, this is the width of the wall. This is not the height or anything. This is how thick the wall has to be. Okay. And he says they're according to human measurements. So it's something that we could quantify on earth. This is great because he says it's also angelic measurements. So it's interesting. It's like the measurements of the angels are the same as human. It's almost like a mathematically the same. And it gives us a way to ponder it. How big is 72 yards? It is 216 feet thick, or the thickness of the wall is the height of a 20-story building. Okay, just ponder that. Look at a 20-story building and you lay it flat, and that's just the thickness of the wall. And it would probably make sense, right? Because the wall is 1,300 feet tall or 1,400 feet tall. Miles tall. So this wall would have to be really thick, okay? And I think that's a really interesting thing to ponder. Okay, it's super thick. Now, what's really interesting about this is, and I think this is, again, speculation. This is truly an opinion on my part. I like to speculate here for a moment. Why does the city even have a wall? Right? I mean, it's not like you're preventing. There's no evil going to try to enter it. There's no attacks. It's not a fort, right? This is a perfect earth, a perfect heaven, meaning sky. It's in a perfect location. It's come down from heaven. It's protected by the power and the glory of God himself. But it doesn't need protection, right? Why is there a wall? I don't know. I mean, if you think about it, we don't need a wall. But we do need a wall because I think it is a definitive marker, if you will, that is just giving glory unto God, right? And we don't need a wall for protection in the holy city. There's no need. There's no need for homes necessarily. The weather's perfect. There's no need for trees. There's no need for a river per se. There is the light, and we'll read later, the light comes from God himself. There's no darkness, there's no night there. But it is the blessing and the gift to creation, to us. The city is made like this and beautiful like this because it's showing the love of God for you and me. That's how much he loves us. He wants to build us a city, or bring us a city, I should say. He wants to be in a place where he resides. And there's no temple in the city. We know that. There is the throne, but there is no temple. God will be there. And to be honest with you, also, this city is the home, if you will, of where God will dwell with us. So it is giving glory to him. It's for us, but it's also giving him glory. So it is, if you can imagine that, giving God glory, that's how majestic this city's going to be. The sight. Things that we cannot comprehend to possibly, by chance, represent the glory of God. It's impossible to, honestly, from a human perspective, to fathom. But he does it here as best he can. And let's continue. So then this wall, the material of the wall is made of jasper. Well, jasper's an element, a mineral, right? It's something we can see today. And jasper comes in many colors. So it's there, right? And also the city was pure gold, like clear glass. So it's jasper, and the inside of it is probably like pure gold. The wall is jasper, and it doesn't say, so there's some speculation on whether these are symbolic. You're going to see more minerals here, and you're going to see these great stones. But the reality is that he says it was jasper right here. It wasn't like jasper, it was jasper. So there's something going on here if you look at it with John. and I'll point to it in a minute. He said it was pure gold, okay? But it was like clear glass. Now, we don't know. We know gold by its appearance, right? We know that gold is yellow, is a yellowish metal. Yet John says it's pure gold inside, like glass. Probably the floor. It says the streets, as we'll see here later on, the street was like pure gold, okay, which again is clear glass. Interesting, it's got streets, probably pathways, if you will. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the reality is that I want to talk about John's perception here. So John is seeing clear glass, but identifying it as gold. He's also identifying jasper. I don't know if he's a mineralogist or he's mineral, I don't know what you call it. I don't know if he knows about minerals, and yet he identifies it specifically as jasper. And here he's going to identify more. He's going to say the foundation stones, these are the ones with the 12 names of the apostles. Of the city, they were adorned with every kind of stone. So the first foundation stone was jasper. In other words, the actual stone itself, the foundation stone, is one of the stones here, the element or the minerals, and that was jasper. The second was sapphire. The third was chalcedony. The fourth was emerald. The fifth was sardonyx. The sixth was sardis, crystallite, beryl, topaz, Christophase, jacinth, and amethyst. Okay, so how does John know this? How does John know this? It didn't have a label, hi, I'm jacinth. He knows it because he's got spiritual eyes. And I think that gives us a sense, if you will, for a moment of what we are like in heaven. And I want to point to that. John knows these things. He knows that he's pure gold, but it's clear as glass. So it doesn't appear to be gold to our human eyes, but knows it's gold. And he knows all these different elements, these minerals. He knows these stones. He knows by spiritual sight. That tells us right away that when we are in heaven, we have a sense and a sight spiritually that is beyond anything we ever see here or know here on earth. We have a sense. The idea is too, probably, and I've heard a lot of these sorts of things, there are colors there that are beyond, that are far exceeding our color palette today. Colors we could see with our spiritual eyes that we cannot see. Why is this also? When we say, if you look at the glory of God, look at Moses, your eyes will be burned out of your head with our fleshly eyes. But with spiritual eyes, we can see him as he is. It says you will see him as he is. So this idea in heaven, what we see with spiritual eyes, is something to really ponder. It is beyond any imagination. We can see things we can't see. We will know things we will just know. Chances are we will communicate with one another to a depth and a level that we don't have here. That it just doesn't happen. There's probably that, because we will just have a knowledge in our spiritual eyes. We will see each other, probably young, and maybe see people who died many years ago, maybe grandparents or something like that, but yet we will know who they are, probably. You don't have to be introduced because you'll know it. This is all sense of the spiritual eyes. Now, some of that's speculation, of course, but some of this is not, right? He knew gold, yet it was clear. How would you know that? He just knows it. So that tells us a lot about who we are in the presence of that heavenly realm, and who we will be in the heavenly city and in the heavenly earth. Right? It tells us about our capabilities, about not only is this holy city being wonderful and great. But this holy city, as we enter it, and as we are now spiritual beings, of course, and eventually physical beings at the same time, just as physical as we are now, but yet spiritual, we will have incredible abilities, incredible understanding. There'll be no misunderstanding in heaven. You will not be misunderstood. You will be fully known, Scripture says. Fully known. For some of us, we're like, oh my gosh, please no. You'll be fully known. Not just by God, but by one another. Right? It shouldn't freak you out, but that's who we become. So I wanted to really point that out because I thought it was really important. I thought, it's just understanding that John is seeing these things, and he's no more than just a man with a vision, right? He's just like us. Okay, let's go back here for a minute. Let's finish this out. Okay, and what are we seeing here? And the 12 gates, there were 12 gates. So we have this cube, and we have 12 gates, and each one was a pearl. There's your pearly gates. You ever heard that? There they are. And each one of the gates was a single pearl. It's in the Bible. That's why they call it the pearly gates, right? Now, it may not be, don't think of a pearl as it being round, right? It's not a big round gate, probably not. It's made of pearl. And the street of the city was like pure gold, was transparent glass. Was pure gold. Not was like, it was pure gold. Okay? And he says, like transparent glass. So what does that say? That says that gold in this, the reality of gold. Now, gold is a mineral, right? Just like the rest of them. And it is made the way it is. There is no such thing as truly transparent glass. Now, you can get gold thin enough to appear to be transparent, but by its pure chemical makeup, it can't be transparent, really. So there's obviously something that shifts in heaven about the makeup of these sorts of minerals that make them different, that we don't have here today. Because he says it's pure gold, but it's transparent. So that's different. Okay? And I take him at his word, because there is no reason to think this is symbolic. I mean, he is very clear. I mean, he's measuring the city. That's not symbolic. Okay? He's measuring it. He's doing that. And he's saying he's using human measurements. So it's definitely clear this is not a symbolic city. This is not just some ethereal thing. This is physical. Okay? And that is what I really wanted to point out today. There's a physicality to this city. It is tangible, and it has meaning, because here's the last thing I want to talk about. Why do we have all of these stones with the 12 names of the apostles? That's the one last thing. Why? Remember, if you will, earlier we have the gates, right? The single 12 gates with each name of one of the tribes of Israel. I said this last time. That is very symbolic of the way we enter heaven, the heavenly city, is through a gate with the name of a tribe of Israel. So the minimization of Israel in any stretch, at any point, is something that should not be done, because obviously it is very important to God that he would put the names of the tribes on top of the gates of Israel. Okay? Also, and likewise, we see here that the foundation stones, the foundation of the heavens, of the heavenly city, is made up of the 12 apostles. the names of the 12 apostles. But why the difference in mineral? And I think this is symbolic, but I think it to be true. I think it's that way because the apostles were all different. They all had their strengths. They all had their weaknesses. They all were just human. Yet, with all of their differences, they come together in unity and form or are the basis for the city of God. They, with all their differences and all the things that make them whoever, that all of these minerals are different, right? But yet they make up the foundation of the walls of the holy city, Jerusalem. It's amazing. It's like the apostles, who, by the way, are all Jewish, also make up the foundation that undergirds the walls of this city. And there are 3 gates on each side of this cube that all have one of the names of the tribe of Israel on it. If you don't see that as hugely symbolic and a huge reminder, like I said earlier, every time you and I go into the city, as we will commerce in and out of it, you'll see later, every time we walk into that city, what it is, it's the temple and the Temple Mount and all that, that's just a shadow of what this city is. It's just a little shadow. This is the final glorified city of Holy City, Jerusalem. This is it. And now when you and I enter in and out of it, those who are disciples of Christ, when we enter in it, we will always be reminded why it's there. The faithfulness, the grace, the humility of people who've gone before, who've made the way, right? Including us, we're part of it, right? But that's going to be a constant reminder in heaven to us, just like Jesus' hands and his feet and his side, which you're going to be able to look into and touch. Same thing. Jesus made the way. These people in faith provided as well. I think that's a glorious message for this city, that the city is adorned. What does it say? By the righteous deeds of the saints. Here you go. The righteous deeds of the saints are a constant reminder to us of what the city is. And God provided the way through his Son. And these people stepped out in faith. So hopefully you and I can be part of the adornment of the holy city in our day. You have the charge, first, to be a disciple of Christ, to know Jesus. And that's what we're going to be talking about way more here in the future. But you have the charge today. If you're a disciple, if you're not a disciple, we want you to be a disciple. We want you to come alongside and be in this family of God who's going to go in and out of this city with us. Not because of how great we are, but because of how great he is. And all we do is accept that free gift. So that's just a constant reminder over and over again. It is time to be and add to the adornment of the holy city by your righteous deeds. Not earning salvation, but being a light into the world around us, a dark world. So anyway, love you guys. I pray that the Lord will allow you to be used today to be a light in your area, wherever you are. We'll talk to you tomorrow and continue with 22 and on, where we talk about the temple, no temple in the holy city, and we'll go on from there.